India cannot afford to support Pakistan against India. Vineet.
Right, Pramit Pal Chaudhuri is also with us on the broadcast. Pramit, what do you make of what has happened? Of course, since India carried out Operation Sindoor, Pakistan has been running pillar to post, acting like a victim.
Well, I think that's a normal part of the Pakistan story, and I think what's striking is that how little of the international community is buying it. I'm looking at the Twitter account of the Chinese embassy spokesperson, Yu Jing, and she has just said India and Pakistan are both China's neighbors. China opposes all forms of terrorism. We urge both sides to remain calm, exercise restraint, and refrain from taking action that may further complicate the situation. That is about as neutral a position as you can take, given that China is Pakistan's #1 friend and ally. Um, and that's the Chinese embassy. So, you're looking at an international community, and we saw at the UN Security Council, Pakistan tried to raise India's supposedly hostile behavior, and they were interrogated. What about Lashkar-e-Taiba? What are you doing about them? Why are they still functional? So Pakistan doesn't really have much credibility in the international system. And it's one of the problems, I think, other than Turkey, they really don't have any country that's really prepared to come out in their favor. And Turkey is a country of total inconsequence as far as India is concerned. And so we're seeing a Pakistan that really doesn't have many cards to play on the international side. You've mentioned that they are economically much weaker than we are, and that is exactly why they use terrorism. Terrorism is a form of asymmetric warfare adopted by protagonists who are weak, and they are taking on a more powerful enemy. So we have that situation. The problem is, as others have mentioned, Pakistan keeps prodding us and we keep striking back. We need to find a more permanent solution. And I think that's why the government, from my understanding in their internal assessment, has been, we must carry out these retaliatory strikes. But these strikes are not really a solution. We get 2 or 3 years worth of peace after them, but that's about it. And that's why the Indus Waters Treaty suspension is so important, because that is where you're going to see India use put an economic squeeze, and a very devastating economic squeeze potentially on Pakistan over the next potential 1 or 2 years. Whatever may happen after these strikes, you will not see India renew the Indus Water Treaty. It will remain under suspension. That is a policy that will continue. If you already noticed that the Indus River Waters Commission of Pakistan a few days ago issued a statement saying that the Chenab is already down 21%, and that the early Kharif harvest is now going to be 7% less than it was. And this is a time of the year when there is excess water in the system because of glacial spring melt. In the winter time, when there is a shortage of water, we will be able to use canals that we've been building over the past 4 years, as well as these various tributary dams, to begin to divert a fair amount of water, at least from the Chenab and the Indus. At this point, the winter crop of Pakistan is under serious threat. And that is where you're going to see an increasing amount of the long-term cost being imposed on Pakistan. We can kill terrorists, and that's perfectly fine. But as we know, when you have a country which has 40% unemployment among its young men, recruiting a terrorist is very easy. But the waters, the Indus, Pakistan is effectively an Indus nation. And this is going to be really the jugular vein that I think we're going to see more and more action on over the next 1 year.
And all right, Defense Minister is speaking. We're in fact going to cut across.